We call the Borough Mechanicsburg Council meeting of August the 2nd, 2016 to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
President Whitcomb.
Here.
Vice President Winchell.
Here.
Councilman Anthony.
Present.
Mallard.
Here.
Hellman.
Here.
Stoner.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Junior Councilperson Hopkinsville.
Here.
Mayor Ritter.
Here.
Solicitor Plum. Here. Engineer Legowski.
Here.
Chief Myers.
Here.
Chief Seekers.
Here.
Codes Officers and Solicitor.
Here. See, we have a guest, Mary Ann P. Sumner from the Community Plans and Liaison Officer for the Naval Facility regarding a joint land use study.
Well, thank you. I'm pleased to be here. I just handed out a presentation that we were given by the Office of Economic Adjustment. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go over that slide presentation pretty quickly with you. And just to let you know, the Office of Economic Adjustment has funds available for communities that have military installations within the communities. And we found out about this wonderful program. We suggested potential funding from the Mechanicsburg area, and the Office of Economic Adjustment came to meet with us in December. And this is a presentation they gave us. It's a really great overview, so that's why I'm going to go through that, and then I'll talk to you about where we are today and how you may be interested in participating. So basically, the Joint Land Use Study is a tool to promote compatible development around the installation. Again, the Office of Economic Adjustment, I'll just call it OEA to be quicker. They provide technical and financial assistance to state and local governments to undertake the study. So the money actually goes to the local entity to hire a contractor to do this study. So the money does not come to the Navy, although the Navy is a partner in participating on committees. The money actually goes to the local municipality. And Hampton Township Board of Commissioners in March adopted a resolution to sponsor the JLUS, so they would administer the funds, but the community, including the borough, of course, is invited to participate. As I mentioned, it's initiated upon a military department nomination. We did nominate this in the fall. And in July, the Office of Economic Adjustment gave official notification that the project was acceptable. And so now the township is actually working on an application. Basically, the JLUS promotes an open, continuous dialogue between the military, surrounding jurisdictions, states, and states to support long-term sustainability of military missions. And, the second page, it kind of goes through the JLUS planning process. We're right at the very first part of the stage, which is the organizational part, so there's still opportunity to participate. Then it goes into assessing needs, the actual plan, and then OEA often has money to help implement the plan. So OEA's role is basically to confirm the need for the study, which they already have, to provide guidance to conduct and complete this project, and provide technical assistance along the way, and help facilitate communications between the military and the local jurisdictions and the community. The community's role is basically to sponsor the effort. As I mentioned, Hampton Township already has provided a resolution that they're in support of it. They'll be administering the grant. There is a 10% non-federal match, which they have in that resolution agreed to provide already. The match does not have to be in cash, it could be in-kind services. I think the township is proposing a combination of some of their staff time and in-kind services. The role is to ensure broad-based community input and participation and engage a diverse group of stakeholders. Our role as the installation is to recommend and support this JLUs, which we have done already, represent the installation interest, provide leadership and guidance on the 2 committees that I'll discuss, and help review and provide comments on the drafts. So I included the page, the organization page, which basically shows which the study sponsor, Hampton, has agreed to be the sponsor. There are 2 basic committees, a policy committee and an advisory committee, which would be great if the borough would participate on. The Navy will be participating, and so will various different entities. And I can let you know that the groups that participated in a meeting that we had with OEA in March included, again, the Township, the West Shore Chamber of Commerce, Cumberland Valley School District, Cumberland Area Economic Development Corp., Cumberland County Planning, the Capital Region Council of Governments, as well as some other interest in engineering firms as well. The second to the last page is this to show a map of the United States showing how many joint land use studies have been completed across the country since June of 2015. So 120. So this is a very active program. A lot of communities across the nation have taken advantage of it. And then the last most important page is the Office of Economic Adjustment contact person. And I believe he has contacted the borough, and he's more than happy to actually come here and speak to you if you're interested. Otherwise, he's certainly available via phone or email. He's been very great to work with. So where we are today, I had mentioned that the OEA invited the township to actually submit a formal application. So they have determined that the project is acceptable, but now the township is in the process of completing a formal application. That includes a request for proposals for consultant. And so far, we've seen a draft of it, but this would be a good time if you're interested to start participating and make sure that your interests as the borough are incorporated into the draft RFP. But there are 3 basic things that it's looking at. 1, seek ways to reduce traffic congestion and transportation safety issues impacting the base, the township, and the region overall. Secondly, to address stormwater issues impacting the roads servicing the township and the base. And thirdly, to promote community development and redevelopment that is compatible with the township's ordinances and comprehensive plan. You may want to include borough as well in there, along with the base's long-term needs and operational missions. I wanted to just reiterate that the JLUs will also incorporate a significant stakeholder and public involvement strategy that's been stressed throughout the process. So there will be a variety of different communication tools, including charrettes, periodic newsletters, a project website, media releases, periodic fact sheets, things like that. So the next step, if you are interested in participating and have questions, would be to contact Jay Sweat, the OEA project manager. And what he would require to ensure your participation would be a resolution stating that you're willing to participate. You may want to contribute in-kind services for a dedicated person to attend meetings to make sure your input is included. But again, that's not necessary. As far as I understand from a conversation with the Office of Economic Adjustment, that since the township has agreed to the 10% match.
Thank you.
Sure.
Question?
Yes.
You said about stormwater issues, it made me think about a problem that we have east of here on Simsbury Road.
Okay.
And it happens to be actually right between Hamden Township and the borough.
Okay.
What would the process of going through that project be to determine who does what? You know, how would a project like that come to be?
So a private firm will be hired to undertake whatever's in the RFP. So if you articulate, again, that you're interested in stormwater issues as well, and that we're looking for a solution that all of us can contribute to, that's what the consultant would be driven to provide.
But it could be multiple things at the same time?
Sure. I mean, one of the things that, just in various meetings with the township, they've thrown out on occasion is to allow some of their stormwater onto our property to be handled. So this is a way for a consultant and, a non-biased party to come in, look at whatever issues there are and to try to come up with solutions. And the great thing about being part of these committees is that you're going to have input into the process. So it's really to your benefit if you'd like to participate. The money's coming from the Office of Economic Adjustment.
Anybody else have any questions? Thank you very much.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
You're also welcome to, I can provide for any of the joint land use studies that have been completed, the 120 that are mentioned. I can provide contacts for you so you can talk to those municipalities and see how the process is working out.
If there were 120 completed, how many bases potentially haven't completed one of these yet? I mean, in the United States, how many different?
A lot.
A lot more.
Yeah, this is not just Navy, that's all different
All different,
Department of Defense entities.
Okay.
In fact, I guess there have been applications that have not been funded too.
Yeah.
So we were lucky to be on the list of ones that we'd like to fund.
Any other questions? Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Are there any additions to the committee agenda? I need a motion for approval of the committee agenda.
So moved.
Motion is made. Seconded. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Community and Economic Development, Mr. Anthony.
Just under downtown Mechanicsburg Partnership, a couple of reminders. First Fridays are going on throughout the course of the summer. It's in the fall. 2 months ago, we started with Music on the Corner during First Fridays, and we're continuing with that again this month. A young lady from Mechanicsburg by the name of Bella will be out. It's a nice venue, and people can come, relax, bring chairs, walk the downtown. It's supposed to be 80 degrees and beautiful on Fridays, so I would encourage everybody to come downtown and enjoy First Friday and the music of Bella on the corner of, kind of right there in front of P&C. Also, the partnership, in addition to First Fridays, has a kind of a business leader breakfast, what they used to call, I guess, a lunch bunch, which now we're going to have a breakfast this month, occurring, I think it's this Thursday, I believe, no, next Thursday, thank you, up at the West Main Dining Room. And then Bugs of Music is the next upcoming event in September on the 17th. All of this information is available on their website. And then the fifth annual Person of the Year Tribute Dinner is coming up in October. Actually, I'm not sure of the date, but it's coming up in October.
Have you picked a person yet for?
We have. Well, I'm gonna let the next person who's gonna talk about that because it's in her report. That's all I have.
Rebecca, Downtown Coordinator.
Next person.
Here's the next
Talk
person.
about it.
All right, y'all have a copy of my report. Yes, just to see if you're paying attention, we've changed the lunch to a breakfast bunch instead. Different date, different menu. You all have a copy of my report. I'm going to skip down a couple. I'm meeting tomorrow with Larry Lawrence and Nada Walton. They are residents of the Hummelstown, Hershey area. They're interested in offering a shared office space for consultants and freelancers and persons that are interested in an open office setting to invite, to work with other businesses and invite their clients to come in. It's a shared office space similar in theory to something like the Candy Factory in Lancaster, but a much smaller scale. They've looked at a number of properties, going to talk to them tomorrow, and they have a particular interest in downtown Mechanicsburg, so they continue that. They've been coming to a lot of our events lately, so I'll be talking with them. Christine Dixon is a lady who opened Not So Shabby about a year ago. This is at 226 East Main Street. This is one of our, we have several log cabins along Main Street. And to look at it, you wouldn't know that there's a log cabin inside, but to go inside, you can see parts of the log cabin. And she would like to reveal some of that log cabin. So I'm going to, on the outside, so I'm going to talk with her about that and her business. We'll be talking with her. You see the other notes there about new businesses and one that will be vacating. In relation to 203 East Main Street, this is the property next to the Frankenberger Tavern. We have our signed memorandum of agreement, so we are now in the final public comment period, winding down. We have days left to go in that public comment period, and that will conclude the environmental assessment that's been going on now for 14 months. We have also advertised our intent to release federal funds related to the acquisition and the demolition of 203 East Main Street. So you may have seen that in the Sentinel that appeared several weeks ago. And we've received no feedback or comments related to that, which is a good thing. The Downtown Mechanicsburg Partnership with our tribute dinner, which is Wednesday, October 5th, will honor Mary Aberley. And Mary's fingerprints are all over the borough, all over the community, and certainly all over downtown. She was a charter member of the then Main Street Mechanicsburg, the Downtown Mechanicsburg Partnership's original name. She was a charter member of the Heart, remains a member of the Heart. She was a member of the downtown organization of the 1980s. So when I was working in downtown in Western Pennsylvania during the 80s weren't so hot, but they were very good to our downtowns, and then a lot of money, including the money that seeded your loan program, came about then. So a lot of things were happening with downtowns then. She was part of that group and continued her good work even to this day. She has been particularly helpful to the partnership and continues. She's the biggest donor to our organization throughout our history. So she's going to be honored then for a variety of things. Anyway, tickets are $50 a person. Invitations will go out in about 10 days. And our presenting sponsor for that event is Seven Bridge Financial Group. You can see me about sponsorships if you're interested in that as well. Our Community Development Block Grant Program applications are due August 26th. We have $1 million available countywide with the exception of Carlisle Borough, which has their own pot of money because of their needs, demographics. I see that book. Any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you. Finance Administration North, Mr. Winchell.
I guess Ms. Boyer is going to talk about this small cell tower project.
In my last two reports to Borough Council, I had indicated that we need to make a decision if we want to move forward with a proposal to put the small cell towers downtown, or if we would prefer to defer doing that until after we have budgeted monies for and prepared an ordinance to regulate said towers. We've been going back and forth about these particular 9 locations for about 8 months now, and we've received final agreements from the company interested in installing them, and we can proceed if that is council's desire. But Solicitor Coyne had indicated back in May that she favored having an ordinance in place before creating an existing nonconformity. So I defer to council as we're moving through the interim period and it's coming towards a close. I'm trying to finish up projects. So, if council's interested in pursuing this, I will get with them and move it forward. If you would prefer to wait and hire Mr. Cohen to prepare an ordinance for the borough, or wait to see if Paul does group ordinance in the future, we can do that as well. It's totally a policy decision for you. If you want to weigh into that as to what other communities are doing, Greg, I know you work with some other communities as well.
We've seen, just for, as Glenda mentioned, this was the scenario where mounting cell antennas on the traffic signal poles, essentially. And those approaches have been taken in other communities around this area. So what they've done is there's been some places that, in conjunction with kind of a new zoning issue that's cropped up is that these smaller, as we move into the future, we believe that the big towers that you see today are gonna give way to smaller things that look like light poles and stuff like that. And it was a hot topic in the eastern part of the state, actually, for a time period, because, apparently in a subdivision, somebody walked outside and all of a sudden all these, what looked like streetlights were popping up all over the place, and they were in fact mini cell towers. So there was a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction, in my opinion, that all of a sudden, all communities should be regulating these types of things. And a little bit of a broad mantra put out to everybody saying, beware, this is coming, this could potentially affect you. So, I know that there have been other communities, North Paxton, one of them on the East Shore, that have taken a look at this particular topic, they moved forward with it. I don't know if they're regulating the small cell component of it or not, outside of, what the municipality is doing. But there's options there for council to take a look at. Once again, flashing back a little bit, there was 9 sites within the borough that were looked at. We did follow up with them because we were a little concerned after initial discussions that they hadn't looked at them close enough with respect to some utility services, mounting of the poles. We did a field walk, Roger Glenn and I, and some other individuals from Verizon. We do think all those 9 sites are viable, so that does make a decision play into the revenue that you're going to receive from these towers. If they're 3,600, that's
Yeah, it's
something like
around,
that, a site.
I think PAC had budgeted in 2016 to receive like $32,000 in revenue. Now, of course, since we haven't moved the project off start, we're not receiving any revenues at this time. So that will create a $32,000 shortfall in the revenue line items for 2016.
Are these things as big as I think they are?
They're antennas. I mean, they're big antennas. I didn't bring the pictures.
We have pictures, but they're huge, aren't they? No?
The boxes are no bigger than the ones that we have out there now for our traffic control boxes.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Where are you gonna put them?
Well, that's what we walked the site with them, and we discussed where to put them, how to put them, which directions they had to face. Some of them were really, like the one at Walnut, Maine, is really challenging as to where to put it, because the tree lawn on the one side is relatively small. So, but they had drawings, they could figure out where to put these things. And like Greg said, most of these things are in the state right of way right now. So whether we have an ordinance or not, it's kind of FCC, and this is state property. This isn't really, our ordinance may or may not affect that. What I think we're trying to do is get in on the cash flow to come in, because that's, I think the agreement was a 10-year agreement. So it's $30,000, for 10 years. So, and they're gonna put them on our poles, so.
$30,000 a year for
Yes.
10 years.
Yes.
And
Yep.
I don't know if Solicitor Coyne would like to speak to the ordinance they're working on in East Mechanicsburg, and if that would regulate traffic tolls. I haven't had a chance to look at them on I don't think there's a draft on them on.
As far as the drafting, East Penborough has retained the services of Mr. Cohen, who made a presentation with COG for that. As Greg has said, that this is something that's coming down the pipes kind of faster than anticipated. And it's, as your solicitor, you always want to be in a position of that you're not doing a knee-jerk reaction to things as they develop. Certainly the cost analysis here and the income to the borough, that's a policy decision for council. East Pennsboro, like I said, has retained that. I believe Hampton Township has either implemented or is studying the small cell tower, realizing it's not an issue that is going to go away. So again, talking with staff and Glenn, it really is a policy decision as far as which direction you want to go at this juncture. And it's a type of area, area of the law that has a degree of expertise associated with it, because you have the FCC and state regulatory requirements, federal regulatory requirements.
And just to remind everyone, Mr. Cohen is the attorney who handles the cable franchise agreements through the COG. And the first year, we didn't have COG participation, and we hired Mr. Cohen to do our first Comcast And we've seen a huge reduction in cost since we're able to participate with other municipalities and share that cost and have our Comcast and Verizon negotiated through his firm collectively. But at this particular time, the COG is not collectively doing small cell towers. That doesn't mean that they won't look at that in the future, but right now, it's not an option available to us.
Well, and I will throw in, the County Planning Commission also backed out a little bit of this. About a year and a half ago, they sent out, and we actually had a meeting at county where they went over all of this with the small cell towers, and a lot of the surrounding municipalities were there. We discussed this. It was a good 4-hour meeting that we had up there. And the county, with the way that the FCC is changing things, and this is kind of similar to the Chesapeake Bay stuff, they're setting up moving targets right now. The county's kind of took a step back before they're gonna issue a model ordinance on this. I have a model ordinance out there that came from the county, and Kirk Stoner and I have had a discussion about this. He said, just hold off, because there's language in there that's not gonna meet even today, and that was only 2 years ago they put that model ordinance out. So there's things that are changing even as we speak that, and I know I did some research before I left on vacation for the PSAB has certain model ordinances that they're looking at too. So there are municipalities out there we could pull ordinances from to start looking at them to see if they're gonna suit us or not. You know, that's kind of how we've been coming up with some of the ordinances that since I've been in the office, is to try to figure out, and then send them over to Lisa to say, okay, now let's make this fit us. It seems to be a money saver, in that way. So, I know Greg, him and I have talked about the small cell towers, but just as a caution, you know, Capital Area COG and county both have stepped back from this a little bit, just to wait and see what the FCC is gonna do with this.
So if we don't have an ordinance, they can still put them in.
Well, if they don't have an ordinance, and we're looking at what they're leasing and their provisions for that, and I haven't really studied the lease there because I didn't know which guidance council had for us. But once it's in, grandfather, so whatever regulatory requirements that are coming down from the FCC or some other entity similar to like the Chesapeake Bay, we're in a situation of having those entities on borough property, whatever. I can't imagine there might be some regulation that's required from the feds as far as if we're a generator of a small town.
If our ordinance only addresses placement of the units, these would be grandfathered non-compliant units if we address placement. If there are other regulatory fees, we won't know that because it's not adopted yet, or has not been adopted yet.
Roger, I thought I heard you say earlier on that because these were on the state right away, that our ordinance may not have anything.
Well, there's two things there. There's one, it's in the state right of way, but two, it's being attached to our property.
Right.
So, I mean, you can waive that, you know, the borough can waive that ordinance because it's their own property. Right now, our zoning ordinance only allows communication towers in the industrial zone. Now, the communication towers that's speaking of are the bigger antennas type situations, not necessarily what we're talking about here. These are the smaller ones that, you know, you see certain red lights. I can't remember off the top of my head where I've seen them at, but I've seen them on different red lights in areas. They've already said they've painted them to match the poles. You know, the only thing that you're gonna notice when you pull up the red light is that the main tower, the main pole looks a lot taller than what it did before.
And we do have existing small cell antennas on the cupola on those
Yes.
at York. So, I mean, we do have an existing nonconformance already in relation to
Yeah.
small cell towers. If we would create an ordinance that would make them non-compliant. Right now, they're just non-regulated.
I guess I like the idea that Roger had of trying to get a model ordinance from some other municipality in the state and having the solicitor fine tune that to suit the needs of the borough, but I'd like to kind of keep moving on the process of getting the ordinance in place, but also back it up then immediately with trying to get these installed so we're not losing revenue.
So,
I mean, that would be my recommendation.
am I understanding that we would like then to look at model ordinances, but also have the solicitor review the agreements so that council could take action on
Yes.
that?
That would be my recommendation. And I think we can do that without Mr. Cohen, if we get model ordinances that are already out there. Personally.
How soon is Mr. Cohen done with East Bensburg?
Well, we have a second draft, we're just about finished with that, so that would be an ordinance that would be available for, some
We could
easy
maybe look
review.
at, could we look at that too?
Sure. Okay, and basically, we didn't need action tonight, just direction for.
I
Right,
guess,
right.
again, my thought would be to not get Mr., I think his name is Mr. Bortner, kind of just keep him dangling for a little bit till we get the ordinance in place.
Mr. Berger?
Bortner,
Okay.
Yes.
I'll send him an email with some questions.
Okay,
that's all.
that's it. Municipal community outreach, Mr. Anthony?
I'd like to turn your attention to the poster behind your head, Mr. President.
I saw that.
Yeah. That was put together by Hot Front. It actually came out today. You're going to see a small version of this all over the community for the next couple of weeks. We're putting together this community day, and we have a large number of sponsors now and growing. We're looking for more, but it's really going to be a cool day. So August 20th, love to have the whole council come on down. Starts at 10, ends at 4, music throughout the day. Lots of activities for people ages 2 to 102. So love to have them come down. You can sign up to be part of the tournaments online if you go to the borough website and then community day page. There's actually sign up right online if you want to play pickleball, volleyball, basketball, cornhole, or ultimate frisbee as part of the tournament. The Washies are going to be selling chicken. We're going to have some food trucks down there as well, and old-time baseball is going to be just a really cool day. So August 20th.
Thanks. Library report?
The library has their 10th annual Run for Reading, Saturday, August 13th. This is a 5K run and a 1 mile fun run or walk. To participate in either, registration is required. However, if you register at this point, you're probably not going to receive a t-shirt, which is one of the advantages of early registration. The 5K run to register is $20. The fun run is for free. Registration closes altogether on August 10th. And this event, this again is the 10th annual, and it's held in Friendship Park in Upper Allen. So if you care to participate or even come out and watch, it's a good time. I also want to let folks know, for the benefit of the library again, Diener's Dine Out all month, Wednesdays. And of course, it's a good time to remind you because tomorrow is the first one for the month. So this will be Wednesday the 3rd, 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st. Diener's is only open from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. So those who are breakfast enthusiasts can really benefit themselves and the library by going down on a Wednesday. 20% of the cost of your meal will be donated to the Friends of the Simpson Public Library. The one thing is that you must have a dine-out flyer when you go if you plan on having the 20% of your meal donated. And you can pick up a flyer at the library or go and download it online. And that's it. Thank you.
I have an item actually under that category. On Thursday, I presented our contribution for the household hazardous waste event that the county is holding. I dropped off our contribution to the Cumberland County Commissioners in Carlisle Thursday morning. And that event is scheduled for August 20th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Is that where they take stuff in for recycling?
Yes, recycling.
They're not accepting their TVs and stuff. What
It's
about-
not an event for electronics,
Okay.
it's more like
Chemicals.
chemicals.
Right.
Great, thank you. Personnel, we have a personnel in an executive session matter, but with no action. Property, Parks, and Recreation, Mark?
Yes, the rec board, at the last meeting, discussed the results and all that we had when the council met with them back in May. Just some things discussed and what they're looking at, what the future, from the results that they're looking at for them to proceed forward with. Also, they discussed on, the pool and the attendance this year, gonna look at it after the season, get the input back from the rec office and see what could be improved or what's some of the stuff that they saw with flaws this year, just to try to help improve for next year. Also, the community day was also discussed on different things that is happening at the pool that day. And their next meeting is next Tuesday at August 9th at 7 p.m.
Public Works and Safety, Mark?
Yes, okay. Basically, the fire consolidation is on track. Last joint meeting, we had a joint meeting last Thursday, July 28th, and basically gave Ben Ben Reed, which is a member of the consolidation, the approval to go ahead and have an outside law office to basically steer the consolidation towards the final roads. She's supposed to be, I just got word the other day, she's supposed to be in the next joint meeting to basically say what her role is going to be, how she's going to produce all this stuff, and how she's going to take things forward from here on out to the end.
Okay. And then we have MS4 permit renewal, Greg?
Mr. President, we distributed a memo, it's dated July the 29th from our office related to the upcoming renewal of our MS4 permit. As you may recall, I've kind of mentioned in the past that 2018 is kind of our next big milestone related to MS4, and that's when our new permit for the 5 years beyond 2018 will become effective. Just this month, DEP finally issued their final guidance on that particular permit and the application process and the requirements that will be coming down the road with respect to that. Some of the big ticket items, and I did a copy, I realize it's probably a little bit of Greek, but I did include a kind of a chart that lists things that we will have to do as part of this process. And we have a lot of it done, and the things in red are basically the things that we will have to do that are different from what we do currently. Some of the big ticket items include, we now have to pay an annual fee for this permit. Before we only paid once every 5 years, now we'll pay every year. The second issue is we have to provide for a reduction of pollutants. The good news is, and it's not often that I bring you guys good news with respect to this stuff, that the pollutant reduction plan that we previously completed was based on what they call the statewide goals. The permit is much lower than those statewide goals. So that means a corresponding reduction in the cost to implement it. So for once, I think we got some sense talking to some people, and they maintained some very achievable goals, and I'm also excited because I think we can leverage the Legacy Park project to a certain extent to meet those goals. So it's a matter of a little bit of working together to be able to get something done and share some costs associated with that. Maybe all can do that to a certain extent and be able to implement the plan. One of the big issues is that we will need to get a lot of this together next year in 2017. The application is actually due in September, which is really about 13 months away. And I wanted to get it in front of you now because there will be budget impacts just for the preparation of this permit and some of these plans as we move into 2017. So of course we're quickly approaching the budget cycle for this upcoming year. More information to come on that, but I wanted to make everybody aware that this is coming down the road and we need to deal with some of these items.
And also, just on the MS4 note, our Public Works employees, 2 Highway Department employees and 1 sewer plant employee were out today with a Vector truck cleaning inlets And one of the areas they cleaned was York Circle, where we have some flooding issues. And there was quite a bit of debris in the pipe, so they're gonna identify where they had issues and try to clean those issues more often. So that should help a little bit with our stormwater management as well, even though that's not the goal, it's the water quality. But through that, we're identifying areas where we have buildup of debris. And we were out today and looked at it. There were a couple areas where they didn't have much of anything, but there were some areas where there was a substantial amount of debris in the pipes, and they were able to get that out. So it was very successful. Today was the first day, and they did 20 inlets today.
Thank you. Do we have any correspondence?
Yes, I put out tonight a thank you letter that we received from the county commissioners for the donation for the hazardous household waste. And I also put out for you a letter from Grayson Hilsinger regarding the memorial garden at Memorial Park that he did for John Quigley. Grayson has sent it off to college, so he won't be maintaining the garden, and he just wanted us to be aware that additional maintenance may be needed from borough staff. I also did do a memo on the proposed sewer rate increase, talking about the possible change in the base rate from 6,000 to 8,000 gallons. Sent that out via email, provided you with a printed copy of the impact, so that you would have those numbers as well.
Thank you. We'll need a motion for approval of the minutes of the Borough Council meeting held on July the 19th, 2016. Motion made.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Are there any additions to the council action agenda?
I have none.
Okay. We'll need a motion for approval of the council action agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The agenda items for August the 2nd, discussion and possible action on the conditional use application of Branford Site Properties LLC for apartment conversions at 101 South Wallace Street.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Just by way of the record for these proceedings, I just announced that the application was submitted, and our planning commission on June 27th had recommended to council for approval. We had the public hearing this evening where the applicant was present with the representative. It was advertised. There was no public objection voiced at the public hearing. So it's a position for action to be taken this evening.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You're good to go. Discussion and possible action to approve the certificate of appropriateness for hauling power, 302-304 West Simpson Street, for alterations to siding and fascia on exterior and installation of lighting fixtures.
So moved.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion and possible action to authorize staff to advertise the sewer usage ordinance as per the draft provided. Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. And this is a roll call vote, is that not correct?
Yes.
Well, no, this
No,
is just to
this-
just
Just
to
advertise.
advertise.
Oh, just to advertise, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So I would take action.
I'm
if-
sorry.
If there is
Yeah, when
authorization
we
to
take
advertise,
action, we'll get them on.
Okay.
we could have it for the, depending on when it's published here, we could have action for the second meeting of August. And this ordinance proposes an effective rate change, effective for October 1st, for purposes of discussion.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second to advertise the sewer usage orders. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion and possible action to adopt Resolution 12, 2016 in honor of the Mechanicsburg Little League team state playoff team.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion? He did a good job. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And also, again, Glenda, that will be the next meeting that we should arrange for them to,
Yes,
okay,
we'll get them all sealed and
yeah.
all that.
Discussion and possible action on the special event permit of the downtown Mechanicsburg partnership for maps, mugs, and music on Saturday, September 17th, 2016, from 1 to 5 p.m. Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. President, I would just like to see that say with the conditions, that no alcoholic beverages be brought outside of businesses. We do have an open container ordinance in this
Yes, we
borough.
do.
And I would like to see that as part of your approval conditions, that we will let the organizer know that the alcoholic beverages must stay inside the business.
How has that been handled in the past?
That is, as a member of the partnership over the last couple of years, I can tell you that that has always been the intention, that the beverages remain in the facility, they enjoy the facility while they take a small sip of the beverage, and then they go to the next place. So never was it the intention, and so I'm sure they would be fine with that one.
I'm sure you
In the
feel it's
pa-
necessary?
Yes, in the
Okay.
past, we have asked, the organizer, reminded, if you will, the organizer, please have your participants keep the alcoholic beverages inside. It isn't a huge problem, but it is not completely without problem.
I understand it. Who made the motion?
I did. I'll revise my motion to include that.
And I'll revise my second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Citizen comments? Yes?
You know who I am, you know where I live. And I'm
No,
gonna
I
make-
don't.
I'm not gonna make the mistake I made the last time I was up here. I'd like to direct my comment to Mindy. First of all, congratulations on becoming chief. I know I'm a little late. In light of all of the friction between police departments and residents in towns and cities all around the nation, I would like to ask, what can we do as citizens, as crime watch people, to help protect our police officers?
The community's been very, very, very good to us. We're hearing, people have actually stopped us on the street saying thank you. They are showing even more by, I mean, we have had things brought to us. We have people just stopping in saying thank you, you know, I mean, this community has shown us already that they are behind us and support us very much. We can see it as we drive around and the officer waves at somebody, you know, you're getting a wave back, it's very, this community has always been very much behind us, and it appears, it has come out and been shown to us in various ways already.
Okay, I know I had considered doing something, buying something, delivering it to the police station, and it's like, what? You know, and getting involved with Mayor Ritter's Crime Watch program is just, you know, my personal feeling, I want to help protect our guys, because they protect us. And Rodney, you know that for a fact. And I will be very truthful. I'm not scared for our officers from people that are actually in Mechanicsburg, the people that are coming through, passing through, that could get an idea, and we'd never see them again, we'd never know, and we need our protection, and you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And also, ma'am, you from the Navy Depot, I'd like to point out to you where buildings have been torn down on Depot property. I have noticed going down the Trindle Road that everything has become overgrown and it looks like a forest. And, you know, maybe a little more cleanup on the property, because if you're leaving Mechanicsburg or coming into Mechanicsburg and you notice that, it's a little bit like, what am I going to see once I get in town? And it's, you know, the area like behind, was it Johnny Joe's or whatever down there, where there must have been at least 3-4 buildings. And they've been torn down, and it just looks like a big old woods. If you're hiding something, fine. That we're not supposed to know about. But if you're coming into town from that direction, it just kind of, you know, is this what the rest of the town's going to look like? Okay?
Duly noted, I will mention that to the council.
Okay. And as far as for the honoring of businessmen and stuff, maybe that should be extended to civilians that have done something that normally they would not do, and not just business people. I mean, we have a junior council person sitting here. Thanks to Mark, I was recognized for something I did. But, you know, there are people within the borough that do things, and people know they do things and they don't get the recognition. And maybe that roasting of a business person could also expand to citizens of the borough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Belinda.
You're welcome.
Any other business? Carter? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Go ahead, come on.
Yes, my name is Anthony Seaborn. I have 2 questions for the mayor himself, please. And my 2 questions are as follows. First, how come policemen get to act rude at their jobs and politicians allow that to happen? But if we stop that, maybe that will put a smile on the people's face, and we won't have to deal with all the friction between police and civilians. Because when I was watching on the news, the whole Dallas incident about Michael Johnson doing the cop, one African American said it best: we might need to start killing out here as the only way to solve it, like Michael Johnson. If we want the Venezuela and Syria, let's continue to have that. It's been brought about Trump, he might not win to be president of the USA, and it's also a way in sports. If you act bad, you're going and not giving chance after chance, with no job, so if you like that, police too. And my second question, Mayor, is this: how come no city in America ever wants to see into the Civil War to get taxes from businesses? And Mechanicsburg did that. They could one way they could beautify the city by saying, okay, let's remove the power lines, let's put them underground, let's make better water management so it can drain the city better from rain and make copies in puddles when it rains that walk around town. And that it was the easiest way. We could start by saying, hey, here, hello, cities of Mechanicsburg, and here's how making the city better. Put the power lines underneath the ground and put more storm drain. Can you please answer those 2 questions for me, please, Mayor?
I'll take that under advisement. Let's you and I talk after the meeting.
Excuse me, can you give me your name and address again, please?
Yes, my name is Anthony Seacourt, so,
And your address?
yes, 26 North Market Street, Mechanicsburg, PA probably 106 17055.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other business, Ryder?
No, sir.
Linda?
Yes, sir.
Chief?
No.
Mayor?
No, thank you.
Gary?
No, sir.
John?
Yes, sir.
Mike?
I'd just like to see our participation in the joint study, at least in one of the committees, as was suggested by Ms. Sumner, and whatever type of resolution we need to make that happen. And if we need a volunteer, I mean, I'd certainly be willing to go to any meetings.
I will check to see what we need to do.
All right.
I was assuming you were gonna put that on the next meeting agenda.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, just two things. Just want to remind everybody in the crowd at breakfast at Citizens on this Sunday from 7 to 11. And Worcester had the chicken barbecue August 13th down at Palmer's from 11 to whenever.
Solicitor?
Nothing, sir.
Greg? Chief?
One just quick thing, Mr. President, the fire department in the month of July responded to 21 calls in the borough, which 18 were fire department related and 3 were fire police. We had 10 mutual aid of a total of 31. That's all I have.
And our junior council person.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We will be adjourning to an executive session on a matter of personnel and potential litigation with no action to be taken.